Okay, abusuya be mma kwa ba sonko so edeba POG Media so abusuya yembonra yensemu no yede mo san so bawra parliamentar abusuya ene speaker of parliament ene minority leader Afenyo&Makes na speaker Afenyo&Makes atoto ne level Afenyo&Makes no why na dwen say speaker kasa na chese ono waba beso speaker no na we na speaker chese masa me na me control fee no de meka no untumi debate ye wonoma bia si debate but won why won ho say oyo obi a oye very controversial man internet de meka bia opese osoma no say o share o behavior ye cause onye part of the JZs abusuya asema speaker kachira Afenyo no wa gunani ma say wa mana ye useless o gina ho kasa na speaker masa show behavior ye you are not part of the JZs na speaker kasa na say or part say Afenyo&Makes no we are honorable say o behavior no hu de wa be behavior in parliament but as a person you say you are part of the youth as nkran yo ma bi na ya o yabuso ensem mremo me yanko na yankonkoti ensema e course na answer na be kono o ensem kan bi afa share comment section like na share ma for so answer into me enka bi aha POG Media so medamase
report. Now if after the agreement the two of you have identified something that you need to consult, that should have been made known and then you go. Yeah, but the chairman is not aware. Well, but he is the one presenting the report. That's his report. Even though it comes from the committee, as at now, that is a report that he has to present. So he is not aware. And that's why he's emphasizing that you agreed. Now, you have identified something that there is a need for further discussion. You should have made that in your submission so that we can give you more time to discuss. Because once it's consensus, we should go on that tangent. Yeah, so Majority Leader, I think we should allow the deputy Majority Leader who chaired the committee meeting during the discussion of this matter to engage him, and whatever differences they identified, they discuss with the chairman of the committee. Then we can present the report and move on. Please. It's not by majority, it's consensus. So don't let us break that rule. Let's go on. Then we'll go straight to the debate. Please do your consultation and let us know the outcome today. Let's go straight to the debate. Yes, please.
Mr. Speaker, thank you. Mr. Speaker, with respect, there is a pending motion. My understanding from the minority chief whip who was at conclave was to the effect that the motion can only be taken today with you presiding. And according to him, the first deputy speaker communicated that to him at conclave, that your indication is that you would want to preside over that motion yourself. Mr. Speaker, I reached out to the clerk at table on this matter because I cannot see it on the other paper. He tells me that, yes, he has the transmission in his office. He's here to get us the supplementary, the other paper addendum. Mr. Speaker, I remember that the indication was that we can have this done today when we wanted to take it before sooner. So, Mr. Speaker, I don't know whether the other paper addendum is on its way. And I do not want ambiguities and equivocations on said matters. If the clarity is already provided, let's go by it. The understanding was that we will take this motion, get done with it before we proceed with the debate on SONA. That was the understanding I had. But Mr. Speaker, if this new practice of changing of positions, I am gradually getting used to it. This practice of today we say something, the next moment something changes on one's blind side, I'm getting used to it gradually.
The motion that he has mentioned. But the discussion was that the motion may be taken today, Tuesday. But the order was not indicated. It wasn't indicated that it will be taken before the motion on SONA. The indication was that it could be taken today, Tuesday, after the SONA. Yes, you wanted it before the SONA. And I was there. And there was some discussion. And you were, urged upon to put it after the SONA. And you agreed. Yeah, you agreed. Nobody is saying that there was no such understanding. And today was proposed. But it wasn't said definitely that it will come before the motion on the SONA. That was the point. There was no clear commitment that it will be before the motion. So we can move the motion on SONA, and then if by the time we finish, the addendum is here, we can also move that motion. In any case, you can even...
I presided over the discussion. I ruled that the motion will be taken today. It's half-hour motion that was proposed. That was what was proposed. And based on my advice, we decided that it should be a substantive motion, not half-hour. Because half-hour will be too short for such a motion to be properly deliberated upon. So we agreed to make it a substantive motion. The proposers of the motion led by the minority leader insisted that it should be taken before the motion for the SONA. But at the end of the day, my ruling was that it should be taken today. The order I did not state. I did not state because the order paper gives the order of business for the day. Unless a member gets up to call on the speaker to vary the order of business. So I did state clearly that please ensure that it be programmed and to be taken today. That one, I'm very clear about that. The majority leader was not happy about it being taken today. That one's very clear at the meeting, but I insisted that it should be taken today. That is what happened. This was in my office. Minority leader.
Mr. Speaker, if you may recall, the conclusion of the discussion led to hear the majority leader even insisted that once we are done with the motion, no reference should be made in the debate of SONA. Mr. Speaker, that is what he said. And Mr. Speaker, when he said that, you said indeed, it cannot, once the matter is closed and referral made, no further reference can be made in the SONA debate proper. Mr. Speaker, if we agree that we are closing it, then how can we then say that though we didn't agree on the order? Mr. Speaker, it's already 3 p.m.
You don't debate the speaker.
Oh, Mr. Speaker, I'm not doing that. You called me.
That is what you are doing now. And what you just referred to was the time we were discussing the half-hour motion. That was when these matters came up. But when we finally agreed that half-hour was not sufficient, it should be a substantive motion, that part did not come in again. I'm very clear in my mind about these things because I swore an oath and I'm bound by it. So when I'm discussing things with you people, I just don't take them for granted. I want to follow strictly according to what we agreed upon. And that is what I'm doing. I advise you that 30 minutes duration was too short for the subject matter that you have proposed. It will be enough space for members to air their views. And finally, you were convinced and agreed we should do it substantive motion. And I directed that, yes, it be programmed for today. So these are not things that you come and then argue over on the floor of the House again. It will be done. So please bear in mind as we start the debate that this will also be part of the business of the House today. The substantive motion that has been proposed, even though not on the order paper, should be brought as an addendum to the order paper so that we can debate it today. Yes, please. So let's move on to the main item for today. And we'll, you know something? Oh, so all this opportunity I've given you to be heard meant that you can't be heard. How can you say that? Please, have you read the text on filibuster? Have you read? No, he knows about filibuster.
Mr. Speaker, with respect. Mr. Speaker, with respect. When you ask me a question and I'm answering, then you come in with, are you debating the Speaker? Mr. Speaker, there was a discussion. The majority leader had an opportunity to say his side of the story. And I'm also making my point. Then you come in, then the next moment is filibustering.
Minority leader, when you respond this way, it's not fair. It's when I stated, I ruled. And so when I state my ruling, and you get up and you are raising the same issue again, you are debating me. The ruling is clear, and I stated the ruling, and that ends it. You can disagree with it, and you know what the standing order says you can do. You come by a substantive motion. Please. You are not part of Gen Z. Please, honorable members, let's move on to the order paper. And we'll take item number 11. Item number 11, commencement of the debate. And the motion is to be moved by the honorable member for Cape Coast South, Mr. George K. Ricketts Hagan.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I beg to move the motion item in number 11 on page 4 of the order paper that this Honorable House thanks His Excellency the President for the message on the state of the nation which he delivered to Parliament on Thursday, the 27th of February, 2025. Mr. Speaker, in doing so, I would like to take this opportunity to thank His Excellency the President again for fulfilling his constitutional duty based on Article 67 to basically tell the country the state of our nation. Mr. Speaker, I would like to make a few comments, but to start with a comment, I would like to quote from what His Excellency the President said on page 4, the last paragraph of his message. Mr. Speaker, and with your indulgence, I read, I am sad to report that the state of our nation is not good. Our country is in crisis, and our people are suffering unprecedented hardships. Mr. Speaker, this is emphatic.
Honourable Member, the last sentence. What did you say? Our
people are suffering unprecedented hardships.
The sentence. I'm not talking about half of the sentence.
Sorry, Mr. Speaker, I don't follow.
The sentence.
Oh, the whole
Where
sentence.
you started is not the full sentence.
Oh, okay, Mr. Speaker. Yes, I'm directed, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, and I quote, says, Mr. Speaker, as I stated earlier, Article 67 of the 1992 Constitution requires that I give an account of the state of the nation to Parliament. I am sad to report that the state of our nation is not good. Our economy is in crisis, and our people are suffering unprecedented hardships, unquote.
Yes, your first reading was not our economy, it was our country. So what I have is different. That's why I asked you to read it again.
Okay. Thank
So
you.
now it is our economy, not our country.
Our economy.
Yes, please.
That's what it is. Thank you. Mr. Speaker, I would like to make a few comments on this profound statement that His Excellency the President made and how we got to where we are. Mr. Speaker, His Excellency the President has only been in office for, I believe, 2 months. We all knew that the economy was not in good shape. We knew we had challenges. But upon resuming office, he had seen more, that the position is actually worse than we thought. Mr. Speaker, it is clear that a lot of the flagship policies or programs of the previous government had actually failed, except one. Mr. Speaker, and I will start with a free senior high school. Mr. Speaker, in Article 25 of the Constitution, it is clear that if it is possible for the country to actually afford a free education, then the country must do so progressively. When the previous government was in power, they decided that they were actually going to go ahead and do the free education without actually making any proper provision in terms of a budget to cover this. Mr. Speaker, as a result of that, we have been successful at implementing the free education, but we have not been adequately successful in funding it. Mr. Speaker, when you come to another flagship program, which is the 1D, 1F, Mr. Speaker, it is clear, looking back in the last 8 years, when this policy was implemented, we have not actually have a lot of benefit out of it. And it is part of the hardship that we face today. Mr. Speaker, we were told that about 196 or so companies were successful on this program. Yet, there is nothing much to show as to what these companies are actually doing that is having an economic impact on Ghana's economy. But what we do know is that rather than contributing to the economy is actually, or the country is actually paying to them taxes, basically what they call the tax exemption, which means that this is money that the country will actually not get. Mr. Speaker, at some stage, we were discussing about $300 million US. Later on, it was revised down to $100 million. But it was clear to us that it was money that was needed to fund the elections. And unfortunately, or fortunately for us, that did not happen. Mr. Speaker, so basically, this 1D1M, which is supposed to provide us jobs, are actually not providing these jobs. And it's as a result of that we are having the hardship that His Excellency John Mahama was talking about. Now I take another program, which is 1D, 1W.
Okay,
Honourable Member,
we need
the President is speaker to take the chair.
Political highway. So a speaker and it say what to be a man a Afenyo&Makes and any more guasapoto. Yes, I'm ready, but I must say, much a penny cocoa teaser audio at the MI, aha, a POG Media. So, Madam say.